In the social media era, we have to contend with the reality that some of the things that we do on our personal accounts can actually affect our professional lives. And for those of us who engage in the social media circus, we have to be cognizant of that reality constantly. So if you're looking for a clear example of someone who, for a moment, didn't keep that in mind, then look no further than this former airlines worker.
She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her her dream job.
I didn't think that, being so happy can turn into something like this.
Nelle Diala was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up and kind of get myself hyped up for my day, basically.
The irony about that is that when we think about it, there are a ton of things people do behind closed doors to get themselves hyped up for things, right? It almost reminds me of Insecure, where Issa used to go in front of the mirror and rap and hype herself up for the day and the moments that were left ahead. But that was a TV show. And the character in the TV show was not actually doing it on social media, though, that was being recorded for TV. But regular people do stuff like this all the time. The difference is it's not actually put on social media. And I think in a lot of ways, that's a bit of the problem now, is that we have way too much things on social media that we share. And I feel like sharing this is probably not the best idea. I have a couple more thoughts, but let's hear more of what she has to say and what was going through her mind when she did this.
Posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video,
terrible caption, by the way, not gonna lie, that was a terrible caption. But okay, let's keep it going.
Video went viral. She says Alaska Airlines fired her.
What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Guys, we're gonna finish the rest of the video, but if it isn't entirely obvious to you at this point, this right here is the crux of the entire situation. If you happen to work in corporate America, then you know that all of these companies at this point have a social media policy, and they want to make sure you know it too, ensuring that all of their employees sit through all of these boring HR videos that are not fun to watch, but absolutely mandatory. That way, at the end of the day, no one has an excuse for saying they didn't know. And I'm pretty sure that somewhere in her onboarding process, she probably saw this social media policy and either skipped through it, didn't read it, or just checked the acknowledgement that she read it, but did not truly pay attention to it. Or she paid attention to it, but thought that this did not cross the line, which in my view is kind of obvious. But all right, look, we're gonna finish here. I have a few more thoughts on that, and we'll wrap up this video.
Nelle had only been on the job for 6 months. She says she was twerking to celebrate the end of her probationary period.
Why did you decide to post the video?
And I was really proud of myself that I came so far. I just didn't think that my video and my post and the way I was dancing would be deemed as inappropriate.
So how did you feel in that meeting when they told you you lost your job?
I put on such a proud face every time I stepped on that plane. And for them to terminate me without giving me a chance, it just was unfair.
I will say this, social media and all jokes aside, I do not take joy in seeing someone lose their job for things that are not absolutely ridiculous. In this case, I think she made a bad judgment call. I understand that she didn't believe that it was something that crossed the line, and it's interesting that she would feel that way because I don't even know if I can fully blame her. I mean, within the culture now, everyone happens to do this. Not everybody, but a lot of people do this, and it isn't necessarily perceived the same way as it probably was when people first started doing this a couple of years ago. So I can even understand how she's just thinking, I'm having fun. I just do this when I'm having fun. But I just feel like within a corporate setting, when it comes to work, you're literally wearing the uniform. Probably not the best idea. I don't think there's anything wrong with her doing that if she's not wearing the uniform and she's not standing in the middle of the aisle, but
it's definitely a no for me, dog.
There's no way I can co-sign her doing that with the uniform on. It just, it doesn't seem good. Now, I don't think I would have fired her for that. And so I do agree when she says it's kind of messed up that, she comes into work with a proud face. She rocks the uniform and comes to the job and is proud to do the work. And they didn't even give her a warning and they just let her off. Personally, I do think that was a bit harsh. I feel like they could have at least given her a stern talking to. I mean, she did just get out of probation. And so I understand if she got immediately fired while being in probation. So, I mean, if you don't get a shot for making it past probation and you don't get an extra chance for being past probation, then what's the point of getting past probation, right? Got a little tenure there, I would think. But, look, at the end of the day, these companies can do whatever they want. So it's their policies, so they can easily choose to discard it if they see that the situation calls for it. So when it is your job and it is your likelihood, I think ultimately you have to make better judgment calls. And while, again, I don't think I would have personally fired her if I was in this position, I think she's supposed to be thinking not necessarily from her frame of mind, but from the frame of mind of how her employers and people who look at her employers might perceive it. Unfortunately, a hard lesson for her, and it really does suck when people lose jobs that they actually enjoyed and that they actually liked. But again, she will bounce back from this, regardless of the fact of this blowing up on the internet and making things worse temporarily. Ultimately, she'll be okay. Just again, hope she takes this lesson. You have to be a bit more mindful and keep in mind that if you are repping a company, then what you do on their behalf has to be a major focus. And so if you want to do something on your own behalf, then make sure that they are nowhere in the presence of what you're doing. And then even then, things can still be trouble, right? So it's a bit of a hard game to manage sometimes, but I think she'll get it a little bit better next time. Anyways, guys, not too much more for me to say here. That is my perspective. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe as I got much more content like this on the way. Guys, if you were in the position, would you have fired her or would you have given her another shot? Again, let me know. So until next time, YouTube, peace.